Hey, welcome back to another episode of Then We Eat. On this week's video, we'll be showing you another way to do ribs. So I think on this channel, we've already done ribs a couple of different ways. We deep fried the one, and the second time we smoked them outside. So this week we thought we'd show you a really easy recipe that you can do all inside, or you can finish them outside as well on the barbecue. So the first thing we're going to do, we've got this beautiful rack of ribs. I'm going to cut it in half so that it'll fit in the pot that I want to use. If you're feeding an army, you can always do, 2-3 racks, just double, triple the recipe. Okay, so once I've cut them in half, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the silver skin off the back. The easiest way to do it is just find a spot where you can get underneath it. And once you've got a little bit cut open, then grab it with a paper towel. It's easier to hold on to, and just pull. And once you have the silver skin off, we're just going to plop that in the pot. I'm going to put them both side down. So two things with the silver skin. The one thing is that you'll get a much more tender rib. And the other thing is it will absorb flavor a lot better if it's gone. So plop that in the pot too. Okay, so to the pot, I'm going to add a couple of bay leaves. I don't have any fresh thyme. If you have fresh thyme, it actually works a little bit better, and you want about 5 sprigs of fresh thyme. In this case, I'm going to use about 2 teaspoons of dry thyme. And then along with that, I'm going to add a couple of cloves of garlic, depending on how big these are. Some of these can be pretty big. These are ones that we had grown last year. So yeah, I think in this case, I'm only going to use 2. They're kind of big. So we'll just clean the skins off. Okay, so the easiest way I find to do the garlic is just cut the little knob off the one end, and then just give it a squish. And then the skin should come right off. Unfortunately, it makes your hands really sticky. And there you go. And we'll just break that up. This one has a little bit of, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a little bit of stem on the inside. Just take that out. It can be a little bit bitter. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that piece there you basically want to get rid of, like that. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 1 can of tomato juice. All right, now if you find like ours that the ribs aren't quite covered, you can see the one sitting above the surface here, just add enough water to cover up the ribs. So depending on the size of your pot, you may need a little bit more, a little bit less, but the bottom line is just make sure the ribs are covered. Okay, so once this is ready, that's all there is to it. We're going to put it on the stove, put it on a very slow simmer for probably 2 to 3 hours. You want to take them out when they're just getting tender. So we'll be back in a couple hours. We'll show you what they look like, and we'll carry on from there. Alrighty, so it's been a little over 2 hours, so maybe 2 hours, 15 minutes or so. Basically what you want to do is just take them out when they're not quite falling apart. You don't want them to totally fall apart, or they're going to be too hard to deal with after this. So once you've done that, we're just going to take the ribs out of the boiling liquid. Be careful because they can fall apart. All right, and I'm just going to let those cool just for a second. Not too long, just a little minute here. All right, so don't throw out the boiling liquid. Obviously, it's had pork ribs in it, so it's going to have some pork flavor, tomato base, garlic, all the things that make up for a great soup base. So all you do is put it in the fridge, let the fat harden, scoop the fat off, strain it, and you're good to go. So the next step is we're gonna slather them in barbecue sauce. I'm just gonna flip them over first. Let's start on the bottom. Get rid of that bay leaf, And as you can see, the ribs are just starting to fall apart, which is exactly what we want. So we're gonna slather on a little barbecue sauce. Flip them over, get the other side. Obviously, you can just use whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is. There's, on our barbecued rib recipe, there is a recipe for a bourbon barbecue sauce. All right, I think that should be good. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put them in the fridge. Now the idea of putting them in the fridge is they're gonna set again. So if you are gonna barbecue them, then they'll be a little more easier to handle because the meat will have firmed up and kind of held to the bone. But once you pull them off the barbecue, they'll be perfect, fall apart. We're not gonna barbecue them today. We thought we'd keep it really simple for you guys that don't have a barbecue. We're gonna do ours in the oven. So we're gonna put these aside. When we're ready to make dinner, we'll pull them out. So we're probably talking a couple hours and we'll come back and show you how to finish them up. Okay, so we're back one more time. This is our final step. They've been sitting for a couple of hours. They're cooled down. So at this point, you can do one of two things. You can fire up the barbecue, put them on the barbecue, give them a bit of a char. In our case, as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna do it the simple way so that you guys without a barbecue can get ribs too. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna add a little more barbecue sauce. As you can see, it kind of soaked in, which is not a bad thing at all. Just give that a bit of a brush. So I've preheated the oven to 425. We're gonna put them in the oven until they're just starting to get a little bit of a crisp on the top and they're heated all the way through. Shouldn't take long at all. We'll be back in a few minutes. I'll let you know how long it took. Alrighty, so we're back. The ribs are ready. They've been in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, and we did those at 425. And as you can see, they've kind of crisped up a bit, a little bit of char on the top, just exactly the way you'd like to have your ribs. So let's cut one off, see how we did. As you can see, they're absolutely fall apart, which is wonderful. Nice and tender, just the way you want them. Let's give them a little taste. That's really good. Ribs are cooked perfectly, nice and tender. You just got to make sure when you pull them out of the broth that you don't overcook them. You want them still a little bit of bite to them. Then the last little bit in the oven will cook them up just perfectly. You can get all the flavors out of the broth, and that barbecue sauce, well, it's one of our favorites, so you can't go wrong with that. Nice bourbon barbecue sauce. If you're interested, it's in a link to our barbecued ribs recipe. We'll put the barbecue ribs recipe on the screen, and we'll also put our deep fried ribs recipe on the screen and in the description so that you can find them really easily if you're not hip on this one and you'd rather have a barbecue one. So that's it for this video. Don't forget, if you liked the video, to hit the like button, share it with all your buddies, and hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel so you're notified every time we upload a new video, which is every Friday afternoon. Also remember, we put the ingredients in the description below so that if you don't catch all the amounts, you can get it there and just watch the video to see how it's made. And don't forget, first we cook, then we eat. Man, they're good.